Okay, so hi and welcome to the guest lecture for the graduate diploma for you, the students of the 2014 RMIT Media and Communications program. So today, this is a modular experience in that each chunk of material will introduce a theme or a topical area, which I'll then try and support with some sort of example of sorts. I'll also move through shareable media. We'll discuss some current convergence culture debates, and then we'll move through into some of the how-tos towards the end. So, at any time, you can go back to each part of the presentation and just watch it over again, or access it online. And of course, if you've got any questions, just shoot me an email at jonathan.hutchinson@sydney.edu.au, which is, of course, above in the description of this Storify lecture. So before we kick into it, I think I'll just give you a little bit of a background on who I am and what I do. As I said, my name is Jonathan Hutchinson. I've recently received my PhD in Media and Communications from the ARC, Centre of Excellence for Creative Industries and Innovation, which is based up at QUT. My current role is as a research associate and a lecturer for the University of Sydney. And so how I've arrived at that position is similar to I was in the position that you guys are in right now, and that's where I've managed to couple my academic ventures and my professional practice into the one path, which has been an exciting journey to go on. So historically, I come from live and studio production. I honestly do a lot of live concerts and things, doing the production for that. Then I moved into television, and I found my niche in post production. So I started doing video editing, and I also did a little bit of work in radio. My very early roots are based in community radio, which I think just started the whole media interest in itself. So as I was doing a lot of my professional practice, I was also an undergraduate at RMIT, where I started to explore how the producer role and the audience role was starting to converge on each other, and I wanted to understand what that meant and how we as producers could understand this relationship and move forward into producing content which is exciting and engaging, and not just a top-down model where it's one producer saying one specific thing. It's this conversational space where the audience is engaging and giving ideas and providing content, whatever that might be. And the producer is also in that conversation with those people. So that really excited me, and that's been a common thread through all of my academic research. So Kyla Bredel was my honours supervisor in my final year at RMIT, and that's where I really started to nail this topic down. I was looking at a project then called ABC Pool, which was a space that came out of the ABC, which explored this type of activity, lowering the barriers for Australian creative artists to then have a platform to produce and publish their material on. So I did that, which then worked into my PhD, and so now I have spent the last 3 or 4 years looking at what cultural intermediation means, and that involves things like user-generated content, what online communities are, community management, the people in the middle. That's what I'm really interested in. So here's the audience, here's the producers, and there's this intermediary space in the middle. And part of what I'll talk about today is drawn from my knowledge and experience in that space. That's where I continue to work, and it's probably the space that I would also suggest is a really exciting space for emerging media practitioners and professionals such as yourselves. I was just talking to someone from Hopscotch Films the other day, and they were talking about the exciting area that happens between films, where there's the film producer over here, then there's the cinematic experience, and that's quite a long time. And he was saying that space in there is a booming and emerging environment for creatives. So That's where I'll draw from today, and just keep that in the back of your mind. So I think the first thing to kick off with today is just to think about what shareable media is, and what that might mean to you. So um, perhaps we could think about media in terms of not just being media that we produce, but how we produce it for an online environment, and how that is distributed amongst networks. I think that's a really key thing to think about here: network distribution. So even think about this from your perspective. What sort of videos do you share? What kinds of I don't know, articles are interesting, funny, I don't know, whatever it is. Like what are the sorts of things that you're likely to click on and go, that's great, I need to share that to my friends. Like, what are the characteristics of those pieces of media? And so we'll explore and unpack that a little bit during today. But to kick us off, I think it's useful to think about social media and explore what they are precisely. So below, I've got a link for a YouTube clip, which I think is really great, and I'd invite you to watch this. This is the Anthropological Introduction to YouTube. It's a video from 2008, so it's a little dated, but the concepts are still very much central to what we'll be talking about today, and I think it's a really great case study that Michael Weish uses. So have a look at this video, watch it for the first 3.5 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what that might mean.